Hi, I'm Rev Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for 40 years. I'm going through the lessons this year as I've done in the past, asking Jesus for clarity. And then I write from that clarity, and that's what I'm sharing with you. So let's get started. We're looking at lesson 329. I've already chosen what you will. Father, I thought I wandered from your will, defied it, broke its laws, and interposed a second will, more powerful than yours. Yet what I am in truth is but your will extended and extending. This am I, and this will never change. As you are one, so I am one with you. And this I chose in my creation, where my will became forever one with yours. That choice was made for all eternity. It cannot change and be in opposition to itself. Father, my will is yours, and I am safe, untroubled, and serene, in endless joy, because it is your will that it be so. Today, we will accept our union with each other and our source. We have no will apart from his, and all of us are one because his will is shared by all of us. Through it, we recognize that we are one. Through it, we find our way at last to God. This lesson is another way of reinforcing what Jesus tells us throughout the course. We are in God and have never left God. This world and these lives are just ancient memories that occurred for an instant. They were corrected by the Holy Spirit the moment they were thought. I used to think this was such a strange idea and very hard to believe. Now I think that believing we have overcome the will of God and becoming something he did not create is a strange idea. How could we ever believe that was possible? So what keeps us living as if I'm an ego? What keeps me living as if I'm an ego? The only thing that keeps me from living, even here in endless joy, is a lingering belief in the power of the ego. And yet I know this cannot be. In lesson 73, Jesus assures us it is not true. Here's what he says. Today, it is the ego that stands powerless before your will. Your will is free and nothing can prevail against it. Oh my. Well, I still feel the pull of the ego thinking sometimes. However, I know that it cannot keep me, and so I quickly free myself. Once I have cleared my mind enough to accept what I am, it would scare me when I would get pulled back into the story. But each time it happened, I would remember that this life is just a strange memory and not reality. This helped me to shake myself loose from it. I forgave the false belief that I could be powerless against a lie. Releasing the idea of a will separate from God is my purpose. It is why I'm here. As Jesus says, the choice was made for all eternity. That we all share that same will is what makes us one with each other and with God. And I am grateful it is so, because the will of God, that is also my will, is how I find my way back to God. It is why I cannot be forever lost in the mind, dreaming stories of suffering and death. My reality is endless joy because that is the will of God. I used to feel guilty because I thought I had established my own will over God's will, but now I know that I didn't do that and that I could never have done it. So I don't feel guilty anymore. It took longer to let go of the feeling, just a little trepidation at the idea of fully embracing God's will, even if it is my own. I had forgotten what that is, and the unknown is always a little scary. But it all worked out as I took baby steps, giving my mind time to adjust. So here's Regina's tip. Let's not forget that our special theme over the last several days has been, what is creation? And the answer is, we are creation. In other words, in spite of this dream of consciousness, humanness in the world, what we really are has continued unabated. That's what awakening is all about. It's awakening from what isn't true to what is true. In my thoughts, yes, I became ready, in spite of my unease at the idea of something so profoundly different than the world I made and all I remember. I became ready. And here's a past entry. I said, the Course tells us over and over in many different ways that nothing has changed. We are as we were created, one, indivisible, part of God, in God, forever unchanged. This will that seems to be different from the will of God is just a technique for achieving an illusion of the impossible. It was never meant to replace the will of God and could not and did not. The experience we seem to be having is just a play. We play it being separate and we play it being different. We play it drama, suffering, and making choices. We play it making something where there is nothing. I'm in awe at the realism and the variety and diversity that went into this imaginative and genius play, and the cleverness of placing a failsafe, the Holy Spirit, forever in our minds to awaken us from the dream when we have had enough. It seems we have played long enough and have answered the question the play was meant to answer. We begin to arouse from this long dream. Each seeming part, one by one, is choosing to read the books inserted into the dream to point the way home. We are gathering in groups to help each other awaken, and so are remembering that we are meant to be one. Of course, we are one. This show has had quite a run, but every show must end and reality take its place. I feel relieved that the show is, after all, not the truth of things, and I'm not this. Dear God, I have but one will, and I'm relieved to realize I have always had only that will. As this truth becomes more and more evident to me, I am filled with happiness and gratitude. Today's mantra: there is only God's will, and in joy, I embrace it. Thank you